I'm really sorry I can't be with you today to collect this award. I really feel that...
Sorry, it's not that video, it's another one. It's the National Schools Formation video.
Oh, sorry, awkward. Sorry. Yes, so examples of transformational work from the NSF graduates. Right, okay, I've got this. So, I was lucky enough to be on cohort 1 of the National School of Formation, and it was transformational. Absolutely fantastic. Initially, it was just me. It was me that the people were investing into. It was me that was thinking and reflecting. And then I started to subtly do. I would come back to school and I started incidental sacred spaces. So around the school, there were just different prayer areas, time to stop, time to reflect. And it got to the point where people were starting to say, we can tell she's been on a holy course. But that's actually what I wanted, because if I send my maths leader on a maths course, I want to see impact straight away. The next day when he comes back, I want to see that maths is getting better. And the Catholic life of our school was getting stronger by the day because of the formation of me. My Catholic life was becoming stronger by the day. Some of the things that we actually did. So we always have Monday morning prayers. We join together as a whole school community. Before school, we meet at 8:30. And we lead with prayer. Now, I was doing that, and that is important. The head teacher should be the leader of the Catholic life in school. But actually, we put a timetable in place that every single member of staff, whether they're Catholic, whether they're not Catholic, leads that prayer and worship together. And I do mean everybody. Our site manager does it. Our office staff do it. Our school business manager does it. She was nearly dying the first time she had to do it, speak in front of people. But afterwards, we were saying, I really enjoyed that. When we had our Section 48 inspection, it was coming up on a Monday, the timetable showed that one of my HLTAs, who's not Catholic, was leading prayers, and she came to me and said, oh, you won't want me to do prayers this week, will you? I was like, why? She said, well, because I'm not Catholic. It turned out, as you can well imagine, I'm sure, she led one of the best prayer services we've ever had as a staff. Also, something that we changed was joint assemblies. I always used to do the assemblies on my own, the gospel assembly. And there's me standing at the front. And I thought, I'm not helping anyone. It's just me. You know, where's this devolved leadership? So now we do joint assemblies. Now, initially, that started off for a year, that it was me and the RE leader. We led the gospel assemblies on a Monday. We've moved on from that now as times have gone on. Now it's all the middle and senior leaders, and we pair up and we lead the Monday assemblies. And that's been a real success. You might be thinking, well, what's that got to do with NSF? It's about the whole time of having time to think, time to reflect. But more than that, the people who we were listening to, the speakers, challenged my thinking, challenged my way that I was viewing the world. One of them in particular that I thought was great was John Battle. I think you've had him already, the MP. And one of the things that really struck with me was he was saying about get to know your MP in a nice way before you need them. Well, a practical thing, I started writing to our MP, Jack is our local MP, I started writing to him half-termly. I wanted our letter to stand out, so I put a bar of chocolate in with it. And half-termly, I sent him a lovely little note, how great things are at the Abbey, and a bar of chocolate. After this going on for a couple of times, I met his secretary and she said, oh, I love it when your letters come, I always get a bar of chocolate. So I now send the letters with 2 bars of chocolate, one for him and one for his secretary. Now, as a result of that, as time's gone on, he really appreciates the Abbey as a Catholic school, has joined us as a Catholic community for some of our celebrations, and he's talking about us countrywide. You know, it's getting people in, because then if we do actually need him, he's already a friend of the school. I was having these lovely days with NSF, and as any true Catholic should, I was feeling guilty because I was really thinking, my staff aren't getting this. I'm getting this amazing time to reflect, time to think. I'm getting these quality speakers, but my staff aren't. Well, I can't afford to send them all on, days like this. So what could I do? So one of the things that really struck home to me was Sister Judith brought in some artwork by Joey Valesco, absolutely fantastic artist. You may be familiar with his quite famous picture of the Last Supper, and it's got homeless children in the Philippines with Christ in the centre, and he's got a book, and Sister Judith knows all about this and she can talk you through this. And I started to look at the rest of his artwork, and he has some other fantastic pictures. that show real children in the Philippines, real families in the Philippines, homeless people, and how they are encountering Christ. Now, this one in particular really struck me. Look at that child there administering first aid to Christ's wounds. And that, I thought, how can we encounter Christ? You know, if he was there today, as he is with us today, what are we doing about it? So I wanted an opportunity for our staff to encounter Christ. So I contacted the local homeless shelter, which is Fireside in Birmingham, and said, during Lent, would you like an additional volunteer every Friday? That straight away they were like, yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I put a list up in the staff room and asked people if they wanted to volunteer on a Friday. Throughout Lent, we'd have one person a week. And I was thinking, oh, you know, I might get 6 people. It turned out enough people signed up that I managed to do this for a year. So for a year and a half, we supported Fireside and people would go. Now, it was great that we were supporting Fireside, but that wasn't the point. The point was for my staff to encounter Christ. So what would they do when Christ walks through the door, homeless, needing feeding, needing comfort? How were they doing it? And it was overwhelmingly positive. Now, like anyone, budgets got cut, things were tight, some people went part-time and they weren't working on a Friday. And so we stopped it for a year. And our school was less because of that. As a result then, we started working with St Chad's Sanctuary, and which is a centre that supports refugee families and asylum seekers. And we are now, every Friday, a member of staff goes and either supports with little schools, supports working sorting out the groceries, or just talks to people. And that's been a real success. We've been to Fatima House as a result of the NSF visits, and as I said, St Chad's Sanctuary, and we are now supporting those fantastic establishments because of the impact of NSF. This has also happened further up the country with friend Claire, one of the head teachers on NSF, who's just written a book, and the proceeds are going to support the homeless centre in Manchester, and Brendan's probably got them for sale at the back of the room, if I'm not very much mistaken. Sister Judith and Brendan kept calling NSF Cohort 1 a group. We weren't a group. They kept saying, oh, you're together as a group, you're a group. And I just thought, these are just 30 people I'm in a room with. We weren't a group until Corrymeela. Corrymeela absolutely brought us together as a group. And there's a sign in Corrymeela that you may have seen when you were there that says Corrymeela begins when you leave. It certainly did. For us as a school, some of the things, the ideas, you're saying, what concrete ideas? In the Cree, you may remember that they had the door and the handle was peace. We came back in our school now, when you walk through our door, it says peace on that side and love on that side. So you will touch peace and love before you even walk through our doors. Following on from that, each of our classrooms now has one of the Catholic pupil profile virtues on the door. They're in pairs. We're a 2-form entry school, so they are around the school. As a result of that, all the work that was going on from me, just dripping in little incidental things, staff stepped up their game and a Catholic Life team formed. And the Catholic Life team is me, the RE leader, a HLTA, and my school business manager. This just evolved naturally. Now, interestingly, our Catholic Life team, I'm born and bred Catholic. My RE leader has been a Catholic for a year and a half. HLTA, been a Catholic for 2.5 years. And my school business manager isn't Catholic. And yet these are the people who are driving forward Catholic life in our school. As a result of that, people saw what was going on and thought, hang on, we're passionate about things. And we now have a mental health team. And they, again, were people working together who said, we want to be called the mental health team. We want to drive forward. My deputy head asked for a performance management target on formation. And, he said, I can see all that's happening with you, Julianne. You're fired up, you're coming in, you're ready to go. I want some of that. And so as a result of that, he's signed up for the Senior Leaders and Governors Programme next year. This will have come through your schools. You should have had that this week. If you haven't signed up your senior leaders, do. It'll be absolutely fantastic. So my deputy Joe is going on that next year. Staff were given options to, if they were attending a retreat, to develop their own formation at the weekend, that I would give them some time off. So if they'd been at a weekend retreat, it was through discussion, obviously. They couldn't say that a weekend in France with the girls was a retreat. But I would give them time off. So I managed to do that for some staff members who attended a retreat, and then they didn't have to come to school until 1 o'clock on Monday, just giving them time to get the bits and pieces sorted and be ready for the week. Another member of staff was given time to travel on Friday because we'd found a retreat that was going to be absolutely perfect for him, and he travelled down on the Friday because it was quite far away. 2 members of staff, information came through about a women's retreat, 2 of the people on my Catholic Life team, and I thought they would love this. I said, if you want to go, I'll pay for it. You can have the Monday off. You don't have to go. They went and they came back so fired up. They came in, they know how I work. Don't come to me with a problem, come with a solution. And they said, Julianne, everybody has to attend this retreat. Everybody has to attend a retreat. We've got the prices. We know how we can do it. Everybody has to go. And I was sort of saying, you can't force people to go on a retreat on a Saturday and a Sunday. As a result of that, lots of conversations took place, and I started tippy-tapping away on the computer as they were talking to me. And for the same price that they were talking for a retreat in the UK, I could actually send people to Rome. So what happened was we gave staff the option. They could go to Rome. We would have 2 teacher training days, the Friday and the Monday. Staff could go to Rome for 4 days and pay £250. They could have a day retreat on a weekday and pay nothing. Or they could have a weekend retreat that would be a Friday and a Saturday and pay nothing. Now, it wasn't majority rules. It was, if you wanted to go to Rome, you could go to Rome. If you wanted a day retreat, you could have the day retreat. I calculated for about 28 wanting Rome. Every single member of staff signed up for Rome. It was amazing. Now, I started to panic because I thought, and I spoke to my priest, who was absolutely fantastic, and I said, I think some of these people are just signing up for a cheap weekend in Rome, and I'm really concerned that they're not understanding that we're going on a pilgrimage. And he just stopped me and he said, Julianne, that's not for you to worry about. Let him worry about that. You're just providing the opportunity. And I felt like a weight had been lifted off me. So we all went to Rome, and coincidentally, it was to the same time as the launch of the Year of the Word, the God Who Speaks. So off we all went to Rome. We used 2 CPD days, as I said, the Friday and the Monday. We told parents, we invited them to send in mass or prayer petitions, and there was an overwhelmingly positive response. People stopping me on the drive saying, thank you so much for taking my mass intentions to Rome. All children created prayer intentions, and we brought them with us. We had no negative comments from parents. Interestingly, the only place I encountered negativity was when I told other Catholic heads. That's just interesting. Rather than saying that's absolutely fantastic, people were just, well, have you afforded that? The whole thing was less than phonics training. So, we found the money. I now have no money. But like money comes to money, we say, oh, money attracts money. The Holy Spirit kept providing opportunities. The more we were developing and nurturing and feeding the Catholic life of our school, the more opportunities came to us. An email literally arrived in my inbox saying there's a trip to Medjugorje, a pilgrimage to Medjugorje in the Easter holidays. There's 2 places available, no cost. Who wants to go? So I opened it up to all staff. 2 people signed up. I sent a lovely email back saying thanks very much, blah, blah. Another email came, we've got another space, and we ended up sending 5 people to Medjugorje in the Easter holidays. It was absolutely fantastic. And they weren't just Catholics. It was people who have a passion for Jesus Christ and wanted to be there. The NSF has reminded me to be brave. It's reminded me to stand up for Catholic schools, to stand up for what's right, and ensuring that we genuinely are helping these children to go closer to be the person that God has called them to be. A lovely thing that's happened on the side is I've met inspirational Catholic leaders from across the United Kingdom. Some of them you're listening to today. Again, I'm really sorry I can't be there. I've only been in school 2.5 days in the past 2 working weeks, so I just couldn't be out again. But I've been able to visit schools up and down the UK. I've been able to, speak to people and listen to ideas and share ideas. I hope you have a great day. The NSF is absolutely fantastic. Please keep going. Please keep fighting the good fight, and please get your senior leaders, your deputies signed up onto the next thing. So, Sister Judith, Brendan, hope that was okay.